So hello and welcome to the eighth in this two-week series of Christian disciples who knew something about sharing, service, or sacrifice. And today, which is Easter Monday, and tomorrow, I'm talking about two women in America who were both born into slavery, but they were called on slightly different paths to tackle that issue. The first is Sojourner Truth, born in 1797. Her name then was Isabella Bowmfree. In 1827, so that's 30 years later, she became a Christian. And then on June the 1st in 1843, was Pentecost Sunday, she changed her name to Sojourner Truth. Sojourner is somebody on a journey, undertaking a sojourn, a search, a voyage of discovery. And so she named herself someone searching for the truth. And she said to friends at the time, "The Spirit calls me and I must go." And she set off on a journey, making speeches on the abolition of slavery and advocating for women's rights. She'd been born in New York to a slave family, but by then New York State had outlawed slavery, but of course many of the states in America, particularly in the South, still had legal slavery. But she would speak on these two issues that were intertwined: the abolition of slavery and the emancipation of women. She was heard to say at one conference, "And how come Jesus into the world? Through God who created him and the woman who bore him. Man, what was your part?" A very powerful speaker. She had to often put up with cheers and hisses when she took the stage. It was unknown, really, for a black woman, an ex-slave, to be addressing sometimes gatherings very well-meaning and well-heeled white Americans. But she stood up to them. She said, "There's a man over there," at one conference, "there's a man over there that says women need to be helped into carriages, lifted over ditches, and have the best place everywhere. Nobody helps me any best place. And ain't I a woman?" And she was heralded, perhaps not so much at the time, but when people look back, as a very important voice in the campaign for slavery, freedom of slaves, the emancipation of women. She did get involved in recruiting people for the Union Army, which took part in the Civil War. But her faith really took her out to meetings to confront people who needed to hear the black female voice on these issues. And she did it, she said, "because the Spirit calls me and I must go." And there's so much more to the people who I'm talking about in these short presentations. I do invite you to put them in your computer search engine and find out more about them.